Hello, you're in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. We're looking at the brand new record from Sleater-Kinney entitled Path of Wellness, which they released on June 11th. That is a cool album cover, by the way. I really like that a lot. It's their 10th studio album, their follow-up to 2019's The Center Won't Hold, a title that sadly took on a lot more meaning than most people thought. Longtime drummer Janet Weiss just bounced right before the release of that record. Said she didn't fit in with the band any longer, wasn't on the same page with them creatively. And I think a lot of people understood that. The band chose to work with St. Vincent on that record, drastically different than anything that they've probably done before. I love the record because I love St. Vincent. I thought it was a lot of fun, but longtime fans, a lot of people were a little miffed, especially those who were listening to the band in the mid-90s or early records. They've always operated with this post-punk, post-rock, garage rock kind of feel, like somewhere in between Sonic Youth and the Pixies. Kim Gordon, Kim Deal, two big influences on the band, obviously. And I would also argue on the opposite side that I cannot blame Carrie Brownstein and Corinne Tucker for wanting to work with someone like St. Vincent. And frankly, it's always kind of been the band's MO. I mean, they're like the DJ that builds a mood, and then right before your crowd starts to feel it and get into it, you just switch it up and give it something different. Without any regard, you don't even care. And it's what I love about this band. It's what I respect about them so much is that, while they've always made solid rock and roll, they've always switched up little things in ways that just, throw off their fans, throw off what the expectations for this band might be. And so, actually, I absolutely love them for that. And this album is pretty much kind of the same. Janet departs, Carrie and Corinne are kind of left, in this brand new world that we live in, and everything has changed. So they're like, hey, we'll roll with it, just do our thing as a two-piece. And I absolutely love this record, the vibe that it has. There are elements of The Center Won't Hold to it, but I feel like, on that record, when it got a little too poppy, when it felt like St. Vincent was having too much of an influence there, they pull back, they get back to their rock and roll roots. And it's great because this is self-produced. And I love Rolling Stone's Rob Sheffield says it sounds like they're listening to Steely Dan on this record, and it totally does. That quarter flash, Pat Benatar, I absolutely love the vibe of this record. It's got a lot of cowbell, which I appreciate the hell out of. This is a great rock and roll record, and getting towards the end of June and getting ready to create that best of in the first half list, Sleater-Kinney's throwing out a really solid argument for why they should be on that list with this record. This is a fabulous album. Path of Wellness, the self-titled opening track, got this fuzzy, funky bass, rocking kind of like urgent jazzy drums that they always kind of just like push the envelope, but they never quite go over the threshold. Kind of just like builds this mood and just never kind of brings you over the top right until the very end when the track explodes. It's really well built for that reason. High in the Grass is the second track. It's got this big intro and then kind of like kicks down to this low-key psychedelic feel for the verses, but then just a great alt-rock style chorus that I absolutely love. Arguably one of the best hooks on the record. That and the next track, the third song, Worry With You, is just got this Talking Heads funky vibe to it. I absolutely love. It's got the best hook on the record, I think, along with High in the Grass. Fourth track, Method, has got this fuzzy rhythm, light riff, and it's one of the things that I love about this record, and I would argue their sound throughout their catalog is that, Sleater-Kinney does a really good job of, good fuzzy guitars, but then they're going to layer that with, cleaner, crisper sounding riffs that don't necessarily overpower, but just blend so well with some of that fuzzy rhythm stuff that they have going on. And that's just on perfect display on this record. I think for the haters that didn't like the St. Vincent record, I think they took a lot of good things from a production standpoint and applied them to this record. And again, there's elements where you could feel like on that last record it was maybe going to go over a little the top, and Carrie and Corinne just pull it back, and I'm loving that about this record. It's definitely phenomenal. Shadowtown is the fifth track, mellow kind of 70s R&B organ. Like what's going on there. Favorite Neighbor is a great track. Tomorrow's Grave is the first track where I feel like they really kick off the hinges a little bit, kind of get back to that loose, kind of post-punk Sonic Youth kind of feel. But then it kicks into this like just groovy, I guess, interlude, like right in the middle of the song, and you feel that Steely Dan so much, funky bass line there. Just really love what's going on. I would say my only beef with this album, the song No Knives, It's really just kind of this weird 1.5 minute track. It's the eighth track out of 11. So for it to be some kind of like, I don't know, like weird interlude, it's in a weird place for that. It's just kind of an odd song. I think at 11 songs and 39 minutes, they maybe could have just, axed that, and it would have had a great runtime, 10 tracks. I would have had no problem with that. Ninth song, complex female characters, is kind of getting back to that snarky Sleater-Kinney lyrical front that they've never been shy about at all. They've always been very vocal about their politics, about their about their beliefs. But what I like about their lyrics is, and especially in their later stuff, is that it's more nuanced. It takes on a feel that's more approachable. It isn't preachy, and this song is really funny. I like the slow bass line, and I like the way it builds in the end. It gets really angsty. Track down the line is the 10th and second to last song. It's just got this great Pat Benatar feel that I'm loving. And then we close with Big Mercy, which is kind of just like a mellow album closer. It's a great way to lock this thing up. A really fun rock and roll record, one that I'm going to argue is one of the best records, period, so far this year. They're really killing it. And again, as a two-piece, self-producing this thing, doing what they do, which is whatever they want. I mean, throwing caution to the wind. Marvelous job by these two. I'm giving this a vinyl. Please, definitely. I hope you enjoyed listening to this record. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out the live show on Sunday nights, and we will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.